Okay, so here's my inside project here. This is the wheel well that fits inside the fender. Okay, I got to get it to fit. And here, you see it bolts up to this piece here. This is a radiator support. There's extra metal there that don't belong, so I have to cut all that off. This, I'm going to get a replacement because this one's already gotten holes chopped out of it and stuff. But anyway, it's enough for me to get the brackets and stuff fitted. This is the inside of the header, which is, it's upside down. You're going to see it's upside down. Okay, you've seen this before. So anyway, this is the very front. That's where the grill sits in there, and the headlights and all that. So all this has inside brackets. Like that doesn't belong. Doesn't belong. There's other stuff that's incorrect. I gotta fix it. So anyway, radiator support sits in here, and then there's brackets that fit inside of here that bolt these two together, and one on each side. And then this part here sits somewhere in this area. It's about 6 or 7 inches in front of this. This is where the radiator sits. So I have to build something here to hold all of that. There's my dog. All right, so anyway, that's what I'm doing now. So I've got 2 sets of brackets. Let's take a walk over here. All right, this is one side here. I didn't mess this is next. One came from my truck, one came from another part. One's rotten, the other one's good, but it's not all there. So I make, out of 2, I make 1. And this is where I've gotten here so far, is there's half of one down there. Here's the other half. Cut them, line them up. Now I gotta weld it together, and then I have 1. Then I'll just sandblast it, and it's ready to go. So that's where I'm at now. And then that's the junk part there. It's all rotten. All right, so here's the end of my first day. I have now 2 pieces instead of 4. This one was here. I just cut it basically in half, welded the 2 pieces together. Actually, this is spotted. And then this one, it had a bad corner, so I replaced it. And on here, this had a bad corner, so this came off the other piece, so I replaced it. And then I'm going to do a back weld, and I cut out the rust because it was full of fiberglass. So cut that out. So I'm going to weld these up tomorrow and then sandblast them and prime them. And the same thing here. This is spot welded. I even did the push out plug just for fun. So anyway, now these 2 are ready for weld and sandblast. Okay, so I got both pieces welded up, and I ran my cool needle gun over it, so it's smooth here. So this one's ready for sandblasting. And let's take a walk in here. Pardon my mess. Turn this thing off. Oh man, you're noisy. All right, so you've probably seen this in the background. So she's in use. Oh. This is a sandblaster. Okay, just a big box. Vacuum sucks all the dust out. Air pressure comes in here, and it's got a pickup hose which lays down in the sand, and as air flows through the gun, it picks up sand this way. Both air and sand comes out this way and tears the shit out of everything that it touches. So this is what it looked like here, and I scaled all the rust and stuff off as much as I could so I don't get all the paint and stuff in the box. And then this is just raw metal right here. So that's what it looks like when it's done. It's almost like brand new. Having a little pickup problem because it's sat so long, so that's why I got to go back over and hit this, because that's still rusty area it's not getting into. But anyway, this is what a sandblaster is. So stick your hand in here like that, and wave low, and you sweat, and you start sticking in there, and then you're trapped and you can't get out. So anyway, I'll let you know when they're done. Okay. So there's the difference. Nice and clean and ready to go in. Alrighty. Yeah, the welds suck, but they're gonna hold because I welded on both sides, so they're fine. I'm not a welder. Alright, so anyway, there's that. And to wrap it up, I just put a coat of the corrosive, the metal treatment on there. So these things will be more protected than they've ever been. Anyway, they're done and moving on. It's Saturday, and this is what I've done so far. Went to hardware store and got the correct bolts that I'm going to need for this project. For these here, I went and got a die set. Ta-da-ta-da. And I went through and I reamed all the bolts, both holes that I need to for the brackets I'm going to be bolting. This one here, I just realized this came off the old fender. I only have one that's right, so I need to make one. So it seems to be a little simple project for tomorrow maybe. If not today, depends on how stuck I got. So anyway, after I did this, and I come over here, and I started to mock up. So I got my two fenders on, and you remember you seen the fenders, right? Seeing that line? That's my center. And it appears that I'm a little close here than I am there, so I'm gonna have to shift the cab back a little bit. But anyway, I just got excited as soon as this started piecing together. It's like, oh man, this is just awesome. But look at that, this beastie in there, huh? It looks beastie. Actually covering up a bunch of junk. And here's the unicorn fender, da-da-da-da, from the basement. Never been on a vehicle before. Okay. And this is the front end that my son stripped out. So I just haven't gotten back to it, so there it sits. But anyway, this is somewhat mocked up. I got two. My current problem, I'm gonna take a while, sit back and get some tea, is I want you to see this. See that crack? Starts at the top, gets wired at the bottom. Okay, so the fender is tightly bolted to the cab. And I got this. So what's causing that is, we're going to go for a little ride here. What's causing that is the Dakota frame horn, and this is the bracket or the brace that's part of the header. Okay, we'll do this. How about that? You see, kind of hit sideways. The same thing here. Okay, they hit sideways. So this distance is that distance. See distance? So I don't want to cut this off because I need this for the brace. So I have to sit down and think this out a little bit, how I'm going to make all this work. Okay. But anyway, that's the better picture, maybe, if you want side view. Okay, frame horn. So that's why I had to mock this up, because I got to figure out how this is all going to go and how far back I have to push this cab. So this close here, it's wide there. So I gotta kind of move. See, I can move the cab easy. It just rides back and forth, and then, as you can see, it does this number here. If I got braced up, it's not gonna fall. So I'm glad that I did this before bolting the cab down, so now I know what I gotta look into. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. Okay, so here's another attempt at the wheel well. So what I want to try to do is this right here. Okay, so I'm going to have to cut at least 6 or 7 inches off of that. I can see that it won't fit in there like it is now. So I'm going to use cardboard, make a quick pattern, take the cardboard, and shove it in the wheel well on this side, and then cut it to fit and see how that's going to work. I'll show you what kind of room I've got. Well, what kind of room I don't have. So we're looking straight down. Okay. The big hump is going to fill this void up here, and then the wheel well on the 54 it actually rests on top of this frame horn that comes in here. And that's the room that I've got in there. There's not a whole lot of room. So I'm gonna clamp it to the top of this fender and see what I can do about getting this thing all filled in. Okay, so after several in and out trips, I got it roughly fitting in here. So the A-frame, it's just barely dragging on the front horn of the Dakota. And then here, I'm gonna hold this perfectly still. Okay, there's a bracket that sits on here that bolts to here into this front panel. I'll go get it in a second. Hold on, let me do that now. Okay, so this is the bracket right here. And let me take it over here and show you. So you look at these are the two. This is the front of the wheel here. This V shape here, you can see where the dirt used to be. That's where it sits, okay? So this part here, the front, is that front bracket, okay? So it's going to go in here, up against that bracket. So swing around here. We look at this bracket. I've got this here. Not sure exactly why I don't have a bolt there. That one's already being used. Kind of strange. So I'm going to reuse this hole. I'll just weld another nut there so I get the same effect here. What's kind of weird, if they're kind of weird, I come over here, you'd think it'd be the same thing. I got one bolt and I got no hole. So I got to figure that out. All right, so anyway, we come back over here. That's where that bracket's going to sit, right in there. So we come up and over, and then that's where that's it. Here, let's get some light in here for you. Yeah, this sucks. All right, V part. Okay, so that's going to sit in here. Okay, so let me take all this out of here. Back in a second. Okay, so now I'll pull the pattern out. I got her on top. I've marked these holes before, so I can actually use them as guides when the fender was in. Kind of helps line up my holes. Okay. So that bracket would go. I just don't throw shit around. Okay. So that bracket sits here. So it's going to be on here. That's where it's going to sit. Now down in this hole here, this is really down that tight area. This sits, it doesn't bolt, it just sits down inside of it. Everything's sitting underneath it. But my pattern was kind of bunching up right there. That might have to go because I don't think I have this kind of room down there with that frame horn, because that frame horn like sits right here. So this might have to go. So that's about how much I'm gonna cut out. Okay, so I'm set up here. Look, some trash cans, and anyway, here's the chalk line. That's the part that I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna leave this here alone, and let's go fit this. All right, so here's my first fitting. I took the fender off, and I got the wheel well in there, and I had some quick learning to do here. All right, so let's go start the end here. All right, so I got this hole and this hole, but on this panel they don't match. This is a C3, this came off of a C1, so that might be the problem. I just changed the bolts. Ignore this, I will make that go away. But anyway, pretty sure it's to sit underneath this lip here and in here tight. So that's where it's at there. Here's my cut. This is free, not hitting anything. This was a pretty good cut. Now this is where it got busy. All right, so on the other side of this, I came down, and it's the full length. And I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, it's the full length. It goes down into that little pocket. And there's just not enough room. See these two holes right here, there and there. You remember this piece here? Okay, it sits on just like this. Well, it'll go in here. There's just not enough room to be comfortable to work with. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just take this straight across and take all that away. And I'll just move this piece up here on the other side of that. So I still have this piece, it's still doing its job, but this horn is just in the way. This is the Dakota here. That's the new cross member that I tacked on. It's not welded, just tacked on, but that's holding the radiator up. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna go straight across here, and then I'll have this wheel well boxed in. I think that was a surprise here to see these two holes, because I went on my other cab and the holes look like they're in the same place. So I'm just kind of curious if, I wonder if you bolt this to the fender and then you put the fender on here, because maybe this doesn't bolt to the cab. So I'm gonna go look at that. Maybe that's my answer. Back in a minute. Oh man, sometimes I scare myself. Here is the answer. Yes, you put the wheel well, stay. You put the wheel well on the fender first. And the bolts come from the wheel well side out this way, because this bolts through the door panel here behind the hinges. Yep. So I'm gonna have to make that hole go away anyway, aren't I? But anyway, that's a learning experience. That's okay. I'm okay with this. All right, man, this thing's, I got a lot of work to do. Right, so let me stand her up. So they bolt in from this other side here. And I would highly recommend, go get yourself some clean out, some taps, and clean out all the existing bolts. You know, all these here, clean them out and run it up. Get these threads clean. And get you some new bolts from the hardware store. I'm using grade 8, and it just makes things come together a little smoother. I don't want to deal with rusty bolts anymore. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna kill this out. Okay, so this is the second fitting. Where'd it go? All right, so I cut this straight across so that where this bracket bolted onto is no longer there. Well, at least one hole is, but it's gone. Oh, I lost my chalk. Come on. So let's look at this a second. So currently it's sitting on the frame. Okay. And we come up to the top. This sits underneath the fender, and the fender sits flush with this. So it's looking like it's a little tight. If I had to pull it down, that's going to be a little snug. So I'm going to take an inch off this bottom across here until about right in here, then drop in, and that should be good. But I clear the rest of this. I ain't worried about the brakes out. That's brand new. I'm gonna make all that brand new. I'm not gonna cut around it. I'll bend that out a little bit. But I missed the A-frame all the way around. And then this is all original. That'll stay here. That'll push in. And then I'll have my original wheel wells Just a little bit shorter in the front. So let me take, where do I want to go? To drop everything. So we're gonna go right about here. I'll pull up about an inch. I'm gonna take it all the way across. And that should give me a comfortable margin here where I can move this up and down. But yeah, this is 55, 55, 55. This is all original. And this one bracket right here that swings down. And you've seen this in the other videos, so I'll just drop it down for you. All right, here's a side view of it. So I drop down about 5 inches, and I'm still below the header, so it's unseen from underneath, and I shoot straight across. That connects the front clip to the front horns. And then I had to cut this much of the horn off because the horn's stuck out about 3 or 4 inches out here. And I had to cut that off because I needed that kind of maneuver or that movement to get this thing to line up. So here we go. All right, so I'm gonna cut that off and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so after 4 fittings, 4 times taking it out for cut, that's my clearance that's gonna be on the frame. And I still have room to go up inside the fender, which is gonna increase my clearance down here. I got this little bracket down there. See that? So that's where she's gonna go there. Okay. And there's the wheel wall. I still have the original part back here. Let's go up and over. Okay. We got all kinds of clearance. And I think even if I start rock climbing, I don't think I'm gonna bring that A-frame up to hit the wheel well anyway. So I say rock climbing because I just think it's funny. All right, so plenty of room. So you can reuse your wheel wells and just do a sole, and that's how mine fit. So tomorrow night I'll do the other side. Okay, so this is where I'm going to leave it for the night. I've got it mocked up on the front here. Stuff that you didn't see on the earlier part was, okay, so this piece right there, that's a radiator support, and it's all chopped up from the other guy, so I'm going to get another one. But anyway, I have to cut a piece of the frame from my other frame to go and support under here. Hold this, because this actually holds a whole clip up, so that's support. Right now it's metal bars. All right, I put these pieces in. You've seen those from earlier. They're just lightly just threaded in there, just because everything bolts together to hold. So this one piece here holds this entire front end up. Okay, but all this depends on this one piece. This can't be here without this, without that, without that. So I had to put all this together and let it be suspended in the air so I can see where I'm at. So it looks like the radiator is going to have to go on this side of the corner support. I got this much room. There's not a whole lot. That fan's got to come off, but there's only, you know, not a whole lot of room there. So, but anyway, here's where I'm at tonight. I know it doesn't look like much, but here's a wide angle, my part sticker, and that's where I'm at tonight. So I still got to cut. Where are we at? See that hole right there? Where's my hole? I can't touch it. This hole, I have to cut this part off right there, about 2 inches down, 2 inches over, and that will allow this gap to close. Okay, I don't need that part. I just need the bottom part of that horn because that's gonna hold the support. But anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I'm gonna cut that part out so the front end will slide up then I can box this in, get an idea where things are, and then I'll have to figure out. This is a build as you go thing. That's all. There's no instructions for this stuff. And there's the other hole I gotta cut out and see. But that's it for tonight. All right, see you later. Okay, so yeah, I know I've been quiet for a couple days, but this is what I've been doing. Is I took the plasma cutter and I cut the old body mounts, which were here. Okay, and I've got at least 4 inches to make up. Let's go. That's where it's supposed to go. That's way too much room. So I cut these off here, and instead of using these, I'm using the ones off the old frame from the 55. And let me change hands here. Come on, girl. I'll slide up here. That'll give me some room. So now I'm gonna balance something here. I want to show you what I've done for a spacer. I'm gonna set this down. Balance this up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I made a round disc here. It's the size of the rubber bushing that's going to go up here, and that's going to go flush with the ceiling or flush with the floor there, like that. And then I'll just go ahead and weld it right in. So then when the cab leaves, I'll have that much space between it so I can put the rubber bushings in. So that's where that's sitting at. Okay, and these are off the 55. These are off the other ones. But look at this cool stuff. See how thick that steel is there? Yeah. Okay. Side by side here. Come on. All right. See how thin it is? How thick it is? Look how decayed this thing is. This ain't gonna last so much longer anyway. The whole damn frame is. So this smells pretty good here. And then over here, that's where the splice was in the frame. And so I ground that flush, and then directly above it is the hole, and that's where the motor or the body mount is for the backside. And again, I cut the body mount off of the old frame, and I'm going to use them here because they just seem to be they're going to adapt a lot better. I'm shaking, so I'm extending too far. But anyway, that's where I'm at. And then the body mounts are on order, and they should be here in a couple days. And then I'll go ahead and I'll start getting these all welded up so I can get this frame set so I can get it off of here. I just want to show you that I win once again. So there's the back body mount, and I was able to take one piece down here, and I dropped it down to just the 3/8 and 3/4. So now I'm sitting at the back end is 2 3/4 off the frame. As like I said, she steps down here, but then this also steps down. So I kept this at 2 3/4 off the frame, same thing. And there's my front mount, and she's tight. All 4 corners are done now. So the wood block is in there just for spacers. I'm gonna put the rubbers in after. I just don't want to destroy them because I got some welding and shit to do with them. So anyway, here's the 55 body mounts, and that's it. Okay, so here's where I'm at now. The red oxide, or the primer parts. You saw what I did before. That's holding up the fenders and the brackets. The fenders, there's the 2 black pieces. That's the one I just made, and that's the other one. Those are painted. Anyway, that's all holding that fender together. This is all holding that fender together. And then I have a U-shaped radiator support right here. that's what I'm trying to get replaced. But here's my dilemma. This is a radiator that came with the truck when I first got it. I don't think it's big enough to cool the engine that I've got. I had a bigger radiator, which is down here, but that's way not going to work. So this is where I'm at, is I have to find either another radiator in this build or have one built with, make it thicker, because I don't think this is going to be big enough. And then you can see, we get close. See how close the fan is to it? That's like an inch. And I just, that's gonna be tough. That fan's gonna have to come off of there if I'm gonna have that. I'm not gonna have something that close. But this is, that's the line. And this is where I'm at so far. So, you know, cab's all tightened down, and now I just gotta get this squared up, but that radiator is the key right now to tell me where things are gonna sit. So here it is last night. A little bit of progress. I got the we got the front end all bolted up last night and put the hood on. So she's all tight, kind of snug tight, but everything fits inside the hood. That's what it all looks like. So far things are fitting together. I still have an issue in the radiator support. That's gonna be another problem. But let's do this here so you can see it from a distance. Oh, don't do that again. Yeah. Now, scared the shit out of the spiders, that's what I did. Okay, that's what they look like standing up. There's bracing and stuff that goes there, but I don't have that yet. Today is door day. I'm gonna put my two doors on, but the hinges are all frozen, so I gotta put a little time into that. Let me come in here. That's what she looks like with the hood on. This is the creaks. You got some damage here. I think this is normal for these things, so she's gonna make some noise. So yeah, she makes noise. But got seams all sitting up, a little bit of tight, but it's bolted on just enough to work on this radiator support. That's my big thing. Once that support is done, then all this crap comes off and I can go into the steering and the firewall. All right, so here's my fuzzy math as we go. So here's the bracket, as you can see, okay. Right here is where it's straight, and this is where it starts to turn or curl down. So I'm gonna cut it off at 12.5. I'm gonna cut 10 inches of the new stock, weld the new stock onto here, and then that tubular, the rectangle, will come across this way. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. It's going to take the total of 4.5 inches off the bottom. So instead of mounting to the bracket, to the bracket down here, 4.5 inches up. So to give me more ground clearance underneath. But that's where I'm at so far. So here I have the old piece, here. This is where I cut it. So this is the new piece sectioned off here. Same thing, cut it, new piece on here. Now this piece goes away. And now I get the tube, rectangle tube to put between these two. The bottom piece is cut. Got my squares on there, so it's true. Now it's time to tack her up. And here it is with the rectangle tube inside of it. I sandblasted the end, so now kind of all looks good. Nice and square. So it's a moment of truth. Put this in there. Here we go. All right, so here it is. She's bolted in. That's where she's supposed to sit. I can put this piece of this bracket in, so coming straight down was not a problem. I'm not interfering with the grill at all. This is coming straight across, and then let me open this up real quick. Hold on. Now tomorrow's piece will be going from frame to frame, and it's going to sit under here, just like that. And then there's be two rubber bushings between these two for shock, and then the whole front end will be supported on this crossbar here that I'll put in tomorrow. All right, so it's in, it's bolted. I just got to put a bolt here and weld that in, and I pull the bolt there, weld it in. But here's your top view. I have my clearance, so I'll be good on the clearance. Come on this side. There's straight down, and I'll have my clearance. So half of it's 55, the other half is fabricated. So this is where 55 meets the Dakota. And the doors are on. Okay, now I just have to do a little adjustments. Let me let's push this out a little bit. So here's my cool handle. Doors open, doors close, twice. Here's the inside of that one. All right, that both windows go up, so I'm good there. I just need hardware for this doors. My vice grips don't look so cool. Okay, good morning. It's Saturday, July 1, and this is my project. As you see, I was talking about this earlier. This is the steel that I've been looking for. It's 5'10", not exactly 6 foot, but it's 3 inches by 1 inch rectangular tubing, and I need to take 2 parts or make 2 pieces out of this one, and then 3-inch piece of steel here. Okay, so what I'm after is, this is the front end. So I wonder if I could pull out a little bit. Yeah. All right. So this head panel here, the hood, everything you see right here is actually dependent upon, all of its weight sits on the center of this down here. We can break it down to these two right here. This whole bracket sits on the frame. Well, the frame is no longer here because I changed frames. So we come up, here's the inside of it. Okay, so it goes straight across here, and this whole thing, all of this, all the weight of it rests right here on a cross member. So that cross member is not there, so now I have to put that here. So now I'm going to pull this U-shaped radiator support out there. I'm going to cut it here and there. I'm going to extend it down, and then my tubular or the rectangle steel is going to go straight across here, and then I'll neaten this up. This will allow me to get the radiator fit into the same spot, and it'll give me fresh bracing down below. And then after this project's done, take the rest of this steel, and I gotta build a cross member from this frame horn inside to this frame sword and be like a trapeze. So I'll show you a bit later, but anyway, I'm gonna get started. So that's what it looks like now.